Whether you're brand new to Repuls.io or you're a veteran trying to get back into the game, I think you can take away something from this video. Where I'll be going through all the basics such as aim, movement, and even strategy. And trust me, I've been playing this game for a sweet 5 years almost at this point, so I think I know a little bit about this game. So without further ado, let's get started. So first, I want to talk about aim because it is hands down the most important skill to learn in Repuls.io. And to aim well, I highly recommend a good crosshair. And for that, I'm going to recommend the crosshair that I use because also a lot of top pros also use it and it is just such a consistent crosshair. I love it. But for the most part, crosshairs are just personal preference, so pick the one that suits you the best and is consistent and just helps you aim well. Now, sensitivity is a little bit more tricky to figure out. Now, I recommend a more high sensitivity just because you're able to flick faster and move better. But if you want to choose low sensitivity, go ahead. Of course, as long as it works for you, then that's fine. But I highly recommend high sensitivity just because that's what most of the pros use, including me. Now, one of the most important aim tricks that I recommend is aim training. It's super easy to get a hold of. Just look up an aim trainer on Google and you should just find one. But the one I use is Aim Labs. But you can use whatever you like as long as you find a difference in your aim, then that's great. Now, another one of the most important things about aim is crosshair placement. And you want to make sure that you're aiming at head level at all times, unless you have a shotgun or like an AR or something like that. And one thing, make sure you're not holding angles directly at the corner unless you're literally prime Funara. So I recommend holding just a little bit to the left or right so it will help your reaction time. But how far you want to hold will come natural over time. Also, another thing that I recommend is how far you should be spraying with an AR, and you should not be spraying from way too far, like across an entire map, but I do recommend spraying more close up because that is what everyone does, except if you don't use AR at all. But now that you know the basics of aim, I want to move on to movement. To understand the basics, you gotta understand how movement speed works. Now, movement speed can be useful in game modes such as FFA and even capture the flag. Because if you move really fast and very unpredictable, it can be really tough for enemies to try to kill you. Or them to kill you to try to get the flag. Or if you just want to see how fast you can go, then that's totally fine. Now, the most simple way to move in Repuls.io is sprint jumping. And to sprint jump, you just have to hold W, shift, and whenever you reach the ground, you want to press the spacebar to jump. And this is what most people use, but there are faster methods, such as bunny hopping. Now, it's a little bit tough for me to explain how to bunny hop, so I'm just going to leave it up to Not Short to explain it for you.
So, in order to b-hop, you need to sprint, strafe, and move your mouse in the opposite direction of where you're strafing at the same time.
Now, there are better methods to do it. I have my own method right here. So you notice I'm sprint jumping, but I'm also looking the direction of the key that I'm pressing. So say I'm pressing A, I'm looking to the left, and I'm pressing D, I'm looking to the right. But to sum it up in the best way, you just want to sprint jump, but in the middle of your sprint jump, hold either A or D, whatever direction you want to go. Also, make sure you're looking in the right direction, so if you're holding down A, then you want to look left, and if you're holding down D, you want to look right. One other thing I want to explain is how you can gain more momentum from an impulse. So say you're impulsing to get back to wherever the battle is. If you jump right after your impulse, right after you land, then you can gain so much momentum and it's crazy. It also works extremely well with those booster things, I'm not sure what they're called, on Coastal and Sandlock. And you can basically travel across the entire map in almost 4 seconds. It's insane. Also, I want to talk about strafing. Basically, what strafing is in my mind is just doing a bunch of unpredictable movements to keep your enemy guessing. And I'll put an example right up here. So as you see, I'm holding but also keeping good angle peaks, and I'm also moving around a lot. That's what you want to do a lot. I'm also not jumping as much, which can be kind of bad, but also it could be okay. It doesn't really matter if you jump or not, but I just recommend no jumping. but jumping can make it harder for your enemies to aim at your head and kill you with a headshot. But less jumping can also make it easier for you not to have a mishap and fall off the map like I've done many times because I'm not that good. But that's enough about movement in my opinion. Let's move on to strategy. And I know I just said that aim is probably the most important, but I think strategy is actually the most important skill to learn to mastering Repuls.io. Now the most important strategy to know is spacing. So for spacing, when it comes to a close 1v1 against a pretty decent player, you need to know how to distance yourself instead of just going plain direct at him. Sometimes you may just approach him and shoot too early, and your opponent is going to have an advantage to one-shot you. While if you tend to shoot early while stepping back, he's going to deal low damage and will tend to approach you. In the meantime, you can approach and kill your opponent if you time it well. One other thing that I want to say is that you want to stay pretty aggressive, because the more chances you try to go for kills, the more likely you're gonna kill someone. And this also goes for FFA strategies. So my strat for FFA is to get into a spot where you can kill lots of players, but also it's hard for them to kill you. So I recommend holding general peaks and angles such as the corridors on each side of the map on Summit, the area with the little window right to the left of the red base on Outlook. And also for Element, I like holding that little window position because it's very, very easy to get kills from there. And also for Containment, I like the little high section near the mountain area, but you can mostly get away with the center area, which is where most people are. So I'd rather go left or right of that position to maximize your kill count. Okay, the next thing I'm going to talk about is what weapons and items you should be using. Now, weapons totally come with personal preference, but I'm just going to give you the best weapons in my opinion. Now, for primary weapons, I most likely would recommend for newer players the assault rifle, just because it's very, very easy to use and get used to. But if you're starting to get more advanced and better in aim, then I'd highly recommend the bolt sniper. And for secondaries, I just recommend the revolver because it's easily the best, no kidding. That's why all of the best players use it, because it's literally a cheat code. Now I'm going to talk about some utilities that you can use. I only really recommend 3, and that's the pocket rocket, frag grenade, and the thermal. So first I'm going to talk about what I use, the pocket rocket. How the pocket rocket works is you want to hold in a position, I like to hold a position right at the player's feet because that's basically where they're standing. And it shoots immediately right at the player and deals about an average of about a third of their health, I think, around that. It's pretty good damage though. And then moving on to the frag, it's just your average grenade. I recommend throwing it in a place where there's a lot of players already grouped up, and this is super helpful on control point. And last but not least, thermal. Gosh, man, the thermal grenade is super overpowered. It's almost to the point where it's just unusable, and if there's too many thermal grenades, I just leave the match before your KD goes down to like -1. And the AoE of the thermal's insane. Like, that needs to be nerfed right now. Please, Doxkey, nerf the thermal, please. It's so annoying. But now that I'm done with my absolute rant, I'm going to talk about peeking. So in my opinion, there are 2 types of peeking, and that's a wide swing peek and jump peek. So a swing peek, I didn't mean to say wide, I don't know why I did that. A swing peek is your average peek, where you hug a wall, and then you just peek right in there and try to get some kills. Just like headshots, something like that. This is most useful in 1v1s against pretty decent players. And the second peek is jump peeks. Now, my thing with jump peeks is that once you jump and you're vulnerable over the wall, it's really, really easy for people to headshot you, because since that's the only thing that's exposed on your body, then the headshot is just waiting to happen. So I recommend more swing peeks than jump peeks in my opinion, but you can go either way, I guess. Oh, and I forgot to talk about perks. If you didn't know, there are actually 4 perks in the game. There's regeneration, which it helps your health regenerate faster. And then there is blast shield, which reduces damage from things like pocket rockets and grenades and rocket launchers. And then there's energy drain. I almost forgot what energy drain does because almost no one uses it, but basically melee kills like pummels will get you more health. And then there is cooldown, which is what I use, which basically it lowers the cooldown of your abilities that you use, and utilities like pocket rocket and impulse. It lowers, the cooldown, of course. Dog, I cannot make a voiceover video to save my life. Now, before we go, I want to explain one final strategy that I think I made up or something. I don't even know who discovered it, but I like to call it the double pummel. This is my favorite strategy to do, and I'm going to sum it up real quickly. So when you pummel, you have a quick cooldown before you can just pummel again, so it makes it hard to just chain pummels and get that 50 damage that you need. But if you pummel, switch your weapon, and then pummel again, then you will skip the cooldown, and you can pummel very, very fast, like this. But yeah, I think that's all I'm going to go over for this video. If you want to see another video like this, I might make some more videos like this. I have no idea. And this video was so fun to make, and I definitely want to make another one. So yeah, I've been DrDiamonds, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.